a nation in mourning, and today is the first day of the 3 days of mourning as declared by His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, after we lost these 8 gallant heroes who lost their lives in the line of duty. Shortly, we will cross over to the presidency. The President, John Dramani Mahama, is expected to deliver a national address in the next few minutes as the country continues to mourn the devastating military helicopter crash that claimed lives, 8 lives of people who were committed to their duty and died in the line of duty on Wednesday in the Adanse Akrofom district of the Ashanti region. My colleague and our presidential affairs correspondent, Komla Kluche, is at the presidency, and shortly we'll cross over to hear the President, John Dramani Mahama, for the first time speak about this tragic incident in public. Earlier today, we saw him not being able to hold back his tears during that very solemn and brief ceremony to also give other persons the opportunity to pay their last respect at the wreath-laying ceremony at the ceremonial gardens of the Jubilee House to honor the fallen heroes earlier today. We're going to cross over to the presidency now to hear the president. Komla Kluche, our presidential affairs correspondent as well, is connecting with us from the presidency right now. Komla, paint to us what the atmosphere is at the presidency as we speak, just a few minutes before we hear from the president on this tragic event for the first time.
Well, Alfred, nothing much really has changed from what the situation has been since yesterday, over 48 hours or so ago, when the incident happened. Flags still flying at half-mast. The atmosphere in the Jubilee House is one that can be described as somber and quite emotional. Almost everybody that came through the Jubilee House, or the seat of government, from the morning till now, have been adorned in black. The president led a government delegation to lay this flowers right in the memory of the 8 gallant men who lost their lives in that helicopter crash. Dr. Edward Omane Boama, the defense minister, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, a former Agric Minister and acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, Dr. Samuel Sapo, National Vice Chairman of the NDC, Samuel Abuaji, Acting Deputy Director General NATMO, Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, Flying Officer Mani Chumampedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado Mensah. Tributes continue to pour in for these 8 individuals. Like you did say early on, the president was quite emotional today, not just him, but senior government officials like the Chief of Staff and very close associates of Dr. Omane Boama, and also the others as well. It was quite a very sad moment this afternoon and also part of the evening. Several people were here this evening to lay their wreaths, as you can see here, both the wreaths and also the flowers in memory of them. Just a short while ago, the last person left here, but the place is still open for people to come in and show their sympathy and also show their concern, for want of a better word, with respect to the tragedy that has befallen the nation. The president, in the next few minutes, is addressing the nation right behind this billboard in the building at the Jubilee House, where he would, for the very first time, be speaking on the matter. He's been very emotional. As of yesterday, we understood he was down. Seeing him today confirmed he was beyond down, because this is a tragedy that has struck him. This is a tragedy that may take quite some time for him to recover from. Many of the people have uncontrollably in sharing tears, or and you can understand the emotions because of the role these individuals, especially Dr. Edward Omane and Murtala Mohammed, Dr. Samuel Sapon, and the rest of the people have played in diverse ways in the various fields that they find themselves. And so it's been a touching moment, and several people from across the country have been coming to lay the flower over here in memory of them. Many equally, after laying the flower, have said a prayer for the departed souls. It's also expected that once the 3 days of national mourning, which will end on Saturday, with that vigil or that remembrance ceremony that will be held from 5 p.m. at the State House, at the forecourt of the State House, many would come in their numbers to express memories, fond memories that they have of these individuals.
Kamala, you make the point just earlier about the president's countenance earlier today during that wrestling solemn period as well. And we're going to show videos alongside. But I recall you did show us yesterday after, and that's what we're talking about. This was earlier today during that ceremony, Kamala, that you referenced briefly, which took place earlier this morning. The solemn wreath-laying ceremony at the ceremonial gardens, where you are right now, like Julius Deborah, the chief of staff, also the vice president, the president, lined up there together with the top brass of the Ghana Armed Forces. And at that point, some point, as we did see, the president could not hold back his tears. This was the first time we'd seen him in public after this incident, tragic incident yesterday. Kamala, you spoke to the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, the Education Minister, the Tamale South Member of Parliament. He had indicated as of yesterday that the president was broken emotionally and couldn't pull himself together. That is what we saw earlier today, is it not? Right there at the ceremonial gardens.
Absolutely, Alfred. I mean, and not just him. You could see even at the press conference yesterday, you could see the Interior Minister Murtala Mohammed, who broke down emotionally, could not control his tears. He went all out because of the attachment of this. He's one person who has worked very closely with Dr. Omane since both of them became cabinet ministers. Even before that, they worked quite tightly, because I mean both defense and interior, are linked, and so you can understand the emotions that he expressed. Not just him, but even other people. We understand other heads of other agencies who were supposed to be on that trip. We understand because it was a multi-sectorial launch that was supposed to happen yesterday, spearheaded by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. I mean, several people were supposed to have been there. The emotions being drawn span beyond just individuals, but also beyond the position of appointees that these people have with respect to their connections with him. Alfred, I can tell you that there's a friendship, or there's a bond that exists between them. Names I will not want to put out now, but many people who know Dr. Omane and Murtala and the rest very well know very well how close they are to each other with respect to the friends that they have. And his calm and affable nature, Murtala Mohammed same, Dr. Samuel Sapon same, but even on the corridors of the armed forces as well, these individuals who were the flight attendants themselves also have a very, very cordial relationship with the colleagues whom they work with. And so the memories or the various emotions have cut across just the political lines. It's gone even to the civil servants, the public servants as well. and cut across all individuals of the country. And so it's understandable if you find ministers of, say, we saw the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, today broke down. Even at the airport, when they were conveying the samples to South Africa for further forensics, we saw some of the state officials showing a lot of emotions as well. It tells you the connection. This is beyond just the politics. This is beyond the NDC and the MPP. This is actually what unifying the country is like, because the emotions cut across two sides of the divide.
Sad reflection coming out right there, and as we're saying behind you, as we count the seconds and the minutes before we hear from the president for the first time, speaking about this, addressing the nation after this rather sad event yesterday. Tragedy that has never befallen a country like this. And we've been recalling the previous incidents of this nature. This is by far the most devastating as we've had as well. Now, Kamala, you referenced what happened earlier today when the samples of these fallen heroes were flown to South Africa. My colleague, Godwin Asideba, was at the Jubilee Lounge at the International Airport earlier today, where the samples of these 8 gallant Ghanaians who died in the line of duty were flown to South Africa for forensic analysis to determine specific identities. And you understand, because of the extent of how charred the bodies, the remains were, it was a bit difficult also doing the identification. Now, the videos you're seeing there and the Jata private jet is what was used to airlift and, in fact, take these samples of these fallen heroes to South Africa. Gordon Asidba gave us a brief of what happened. We're seeing now the Honorable Haruna Idrisu Tamale South, Member of Parliament, Education Minister. We had Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak as well. That's also Member of Parliament, is the Minister for the Interior. Also, Ibrahim Mahama, entrepreneur, brother of the President. And then also we had Al-Hassan Soini, who's the Deputy Roads and Highways Minister, and Tamale North Member of Parliament, very close friends with the late Dr. Al-Hajj Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed as well. And clearly the countenance reflects and defines what the nation is feeling at the moment. You see the Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua, who is now also doubling as the Minister in charge of Environment, Science and Technology. If you recall, the program that these individuals were attending yesterday when this unfortunate incident happened was under the auspices of the environment, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and one of the initiatives that this administration has put together to also fight illegal mining. And because there's an interministerial approach to fighting galamsey, you had Emmanuel Amakofibua there, and then also the Honorable or late Dr. Al-Hajj Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed was supposed to be there as well. And unfortunately, this incident happened. Let's hear from Gordon Asideba. He just gives us a wrap of what happened earlier today when the samples were airlifted.
The lounge of the Kotoka International Airport here in Accra. In front of me, you can see scenes filled with grief. Jata private jet has arranged this transportation for the mortal remains of the 8 victims who were involved in the tragic Z9 military helicopter crash that occurred yesterday in the dense forest of the Adanse Krofrom in the Ashanti region, where all of this happened. It's a movement that has brought the entire nation to a standstill. This evening, we have been told that the charge remains. Samples of them, of the deceased bent beyond recognition, are being flown to South Africa for urgent DNA testing. It is the only way, as it stands, to confirm the exact identities of those on board this aircraft that has led us to this rather unfortunate news. The remains are being flown out on the Jatta private jet, and we'll continue to follow this developing story and provide updates on the results of the DNA testing and upcoming funeral arrangements as well. But for now, from here at the Jubilee Lounge, it is a moment of reflection and a call for national unity in the face of profound grief.
To speed up the investigation, obviously we need to do further examination and investigation just for the avoidance of doubt. And some of the forensic that needs to be done, taking samples have to be done outside the country. So that's why we are trying to fast track, and you see all that. We know that this evening the President will address the country and the world, so we hope that we will all be patient and wait for the President address. But I want to thank the families sincerely for all the cooperation that we've had from them.
Who is leading the team to South Africa?
Our forensic, the head of forensic at the police, CID. In the next 6-12 hours, they will be able to give us all the results.
Honorable Minister of Health, a lot of people have been asking questions why this test wasn't done here in the country.
Well, even if anything at all is done in the country, sometimes we may require further confirmation outside the country. And so that's exactly what we are doing at the moment.
So how swift is this expected to be done?
Well, it is our prayers that it is done as soon as possible.
And you can clearly see the jet taking off now. And just as the plane is moving smoothly and would soon be in the skies, with pieces of souls of these 8 individuals who would soon be arriving in South Africa. We have our fingers crossed here in the country as well, awaiting for news as soon as possible. My name is Godwin Asideba.
Well, then we're going to cross over to the presidency now. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has started the address to the nation.
Also of the Ghana Air Force. This tragedy represents a deep personal loss for me. I shared a close bond with many of those individuals who died. Our nation is grieving. And on behalf of the government and the people of Ghana, I extend my deepest condolences to their families, friends, and their loved ones. Know that our entire country mourns with you. We share your pain. Your loss is our loss. A loss of dedicated public servants, intellectuals, and individuals who tirelessly worked for a better Ghana. These 8 individuals dedicated their lives to Ghana's progress. That their final moments were spent in service is a testament to their unwavering commitment. We have lost some of our nation's brightest minds. And this is a moment of shared heartbreak, a time to reflect on the preciousness of life, the sacrifices of public service, and our gratitude for those who dedicate themselves to the well-being of our fellow citizens. Squadron Leader Anala, Flying of Sampedu, and Sergeant Ado were dedicated members of our Air Force, embodying the best of their profession. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Limuna was a humble yet effective public servant. Samuel Sapong was a respected statesman, and Mr. Samuel Abwaje was a promising young leader. Dr. Omani Boama was a brilliant and dedicated leader. And Alhaji Dr. Murtala Mohammed was a passionate voice for his constituents and a champion for environmental stewardship. These gallant men each served Ghana with distinction. And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment. In this moment of national grief, let us remember that we are above all Ghanaians, united not just by our nationality, but by our shared hope, our shared humanity, and now our shared sorrow. Let us set aside our differences and offer our collective compassion to the bereaved families. This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed. Let our words be of comfort, our actions be of kindness, and our unity be the tribute we offer to those whose lives have been lost. To the families, to the Ghana Armed Forces, to the ministries and departments that have lost dedicated staff, and to the National Democratic Congress, which mourns the passing of valued members, may you find strength in their memory and their legacy. May we all be comforted by the knowledge that though they are gone from our sight, they remain forever in the spirit of the nation they so faithfully served. On Saturday, 9th August at 5 p.m., the nation will gather at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection and memorial in honor of our departed colleagues. Books of condolences will be opened simultaneously at the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ghana Armed Forces headquarters, and the National Democratic Congress headquarters, and also the head office of NADMO from Sunday, 10th August to Thursday, 14th August. On Friday, 15th August, an interdenominational state funeral will be held for the 8 heroes at the Black Star Square. My brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen and women, may God bless their souls, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Mr. President John Dramani Mahama there, addressing the nation, speaking about this tragic event publicly for the first time. The loss of these 8 gallant heroes, patriots, Ghanaians who died in the line of duty. The president stated clearly that the flight data and the cockpit voice have all been retrieved, as the black box has been retrieved, as was earlier announced by the Ashanti Regional Minister. He put this out, the president. He is the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He has also confirmed the news that we put out earlier, that the flight data and the cockpit voice have all been retrieved, and that's an integral part of the investigation into what led to this particular crash. Also, he has indicated that we are above all Ghanaians, and that is what matters at this time, and this is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. He has also indicated that unity will be the most important tribute that we offer to those who have lost families and loved ones, as we have seen. He also indicates that he would rather we all be comforted that these persons we have lost today, statesmen, family members, brothers, fathers, siblings, did serve the nation with their all and died in the line of duty. The president has also given details of number of events that have also been put in place to honor the memory of these persons that we have lost. There'll be an event at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection. On Saturday, it starts at 5 p.m. And also there'll be an interdenominational church service. So the Book of Condolences will be opened at the Ministry of Defense, also the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, and also at the Ghana Armed Forces. So, we would play back what the president said shortly, just for the benefit of the uninitiated, and we will get into a conversation here on Ghana Tonight. This is a special coverage of the president's speech you just saw, and then also a special edition of Ghana Tonight for today. It will go up until 11 p.m., so stay with us. The president has indicated that at 5 p.m., the nation will gather on Saturday at the forecourt of the State House to honor the memory of these fallen heroes with the memorial service, and then also the investigation of the Board of Inquiry that has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash after the flight data and the cockpit voice have all been retrieved. Talk with Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is going to be joining us in a bit, a former serving officer of the Ghana Armed Forces. We'll also hear from a few people who will be joining us. But this is what the president said, having that heavy responsibility of officially also informing the nation what has happened 24 hours after this tragic event, the developments. Komla Kloche is our presidential affairs correspondent. He is at the presidency as we speak. He's connecting with us again. Komla, a clear sense of sadness and a broken heart as we saw the president there, reflecting the mood of the nation as we speak. Now, you're there right now. Paint to us, beyond what we saw on television, what is happening at the presidency right now.
Alfred, the president just left a short while ago, just after the address. He didn't waste time at all. And, he left in a very quiet mood. The motorcades didn't even make much noise, just left quietly, and presumably he's retired home. You can understand the emotions that are involved in this. A bit composed that he was. He's been able to find strength to address the nation and give it an update, speaking for the very first time right on this issue and what the way forward is going to be. And just like you've recounted, the black box and then the audio recordings on the flight have been recovered. There'll be some investigation into this. He's asking for closer unity with respect to the country, and that this is one of the lessons that we need to pick up as a country, and we should remain quite united. And so, many of the staff who have been involved in the broadcast are also just wrapping up to leave the presidency, and then they possibly will be returning to work tomorrow in the morning. But just like the president declared yesterday, all his activities have been cancelled for the rest of the week, and the Saturday vigil where many of the people would be expressing their memories, fond memories of these individuals, 8 individuals whom he spoke quite fondly of, will be at play at the forecourt of the State House. That's what the situation is right now at the Jubilee House, where flags continue to fly at half-mast.
I appreciate you for this, and stay with us, because we do know that there's a lot that also is happening right after this president's speech, the president's speech as well, a few minutes ago. And this is just to give us an update 24 hours after this tragic event that happened at the Dampier Range Forest Reserve near Brofidru, Sikaman, in the Adansi Akrofo municipality of the Ashanti region. Let's play back the president's speech that he gave just a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at this.
Good evening, my fellow countrymen and women. It is with a profoundly heavy heart that I address you tonight. Yesterday, a tragic helicopter crash in Adansi Akrofo claimed the lives of 8 cherished members of our Ghanaian family. The victims of this accident include 5 passengers and 3 dedicated members of the Ghana Armed Forces. Among them were Dr. Edward Kofi Omaniboama, Minister for Defense; Alhaji Dr. Murtala Mohammed, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central and Minister for Environment, Science and Technology; Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Limuna, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator; Samuel Sapo, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress; Samuel Abuaje, Deputy Director General of NADMO; and Squadron Leader Peter Anala of the Ghana Air Force, Flying Officer Chum Ampedu of the Ghana Air Force, and Sergeant Ernest Ado, also of the Ghana Air Force. This tragedy represents a deep personal loss for me. I shared a close bond with many of those individuals who died. Our nation is grieving, and on behalf of the government and the people of Ghana, I extend my deepest condolences to their families, friends, and their loved ones. Know that our entire country mourns with you. We share your pain. Your loss is our loss. A loss of dedicated public servants, intellectuals, and individuals who tirelessly worked for a better Ghana. These 8 individuals dedicated their lives to Ghana's progress. That their final moments were spent in service is a testament to their unwavering commitment. We have lost some of our nation's brightest minds, and this is a moment of shared heartbreak, a time to reflect on the preciousness of life, the sacrifices of public service, and our gratitude for those who dedicate themselves to the well-being of our fellow citizens. Squadron Leader Anala, Flying Officer Ampedu, and Sergeant Ado were dedicated members of our Air Force, embodying the best of their profession. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Limuna was a humble yet effective public servant. Samuel Sapong was a respected statesman, and Mr. Samuel Abuaje was a promising young leader. Dr. Omaniboama was a brilliant and dedicated leader, and Alhaji Dr. Murtala Mohammed was a passionate voice for his constituents and a champion for environmental stewardship. These gallant men each served Ghana with distinction. And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment. In this moment of national grief, let us remember that we are above all Ghanaians, united not just by our nationality, but by our shared hope, our shared humanity, and now our shared sorrow. Let us set aside our differences and offer our collective compassion to the bereaved families. This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed. Let our words be of comfort, our actions be of kindness, and our unity be the tribute we offer to those whose lives have been lost. To the families, to the Ghana Armed Forces, to the ministries and departments that have lost dedicated staff, and to the National Democratic Congress, which mourns the passing of valued members, may you find strength in their memory and their legacy. May we all be comforted by the knowledge that though they are gone from our sight, they remain forever in the spirit of the nation they so faithfully served. On Saturday, 9th August at 5 p.m., the nation will gather at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection and memorial in honor of our departed colleagues. Books of condolences will be opened simultaneously at the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ghana Armed Forces headquarters, and the National Democratic Congress headquarters, and also the head office of NADMO from Sunday, 10th August to Thursday, 14th August. On Friday, 15th August, an interdenominational state funeral will be held for the 8 heroes at the Black Star Square. My brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen and women, may God bless their souls, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
That's the President, John Dramani Mahama, there also giving details of what the update is, what has been found out after 24 hours after this tragic event, and the lineup of activities also in memory and to honor the memory of these fallen heroes. Now, as we recalled earlier, there's been a number of things happening today. Some persons who visited the residencies of these fallen heroes also sharing their fond memories with us and what they would expect going forward. You heard the president say that the talk about the cause of this crash is a necessary outcome. And as a result, full and transparent investigations have already been launched into the cause of this crash. That's very important as well. And an important denominator also to add to what the president indicated is that beyond this, there has been the identification and retrieval of the flight data, and the cockpit voice have also been retrieved. That is to aid with the full and transparent investigation into the cause of this crash. Earlier today, a number of persons who also thronged the Jubilee House to also pay their last respect during this wreath-laying ceremony. We had Ras Mubarak, and then also the former Denta MP, Winedu Asari, and the Deputy CEO for the Ghana Tourism Authority as well, all sharing their thoughts with us and their fond memories of the man and the statesmen, the gallant Ghanaians, the heroes that we lost as a result of this tragic event yesterday. This is what the former Member of Parliament for the Kumbungu constituency, Ras Mubarak, who spoke to my colleague, shared with us. Take a look.
The families of our departed comrades, the Honorable Manebuama, Honorable Alaji Limuna Muniru, Honorable Mutala Ibrahim, Dr. Sapong, and the military officers, who were involved in this tragic incident. Words are inadequate to express how sad we feel about the sudden loss of our compatriots, and certainly tears cannot wipe away the good memories that we shared. Tears cannot wipe away the times that we spent together. Tears cannot wipe away, the memory of their service to this great country called Ghana. It is our fervent hope and prayer that the good Lord will keep their souls and that they rest in perfect peace. But we must endeavor not to make their sudden departure be in vain. How did this happen? Where were they heading to? They were, heading to a program that is in relation to the fight against galamsey. Yeah. Now, if the murder of Major Mahama didn't get us to stop galamsey in our country, the tragic loss of these 8 gallant, patriotic men should help us bring a finality, to the destruction of our water bodies, of our forest reserves. And we must desist from treating the menace of galamsey with kids' gloves, as we have often done, and ruthlessly deal with it and nip it in the bud. It's a national security issue now, and I'm hoping that the sacrifices they've paid with their lives, a sudden loss, their families, immediate families, all of us are grieving. But the most exciting tribute to their memory would be that come next year, when we are marking the anniversary of their passing, we wouldn't have issues of galamsey in our country. That is what I would want to hear. That would be a befitting tribute, to the memory of Honorable Mutala, Omane Boama, Limuna, Dr. Sapon, and the rest of them who tragically perished yesterday.
Well, the former finance minister, immediate past finance minister, Dr. Mohamed Aminanta as well, who was at the residence of the late Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, also shared a few things with us. But before that, let's go on to the telephone. Toby Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo is joining us, statesman, also served in the Ghana Armed Forces as well. And he also reflecting the mood of the nation as we speak. Toby, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening.
It's good to have you. On a night like this, after hearing the president speak about this tragic event that's led to the loss of these 8 gallant Ghanaians and the updates as we've had it. And you, having served in the Ghana Armed Forces, this hits closer, is it not?
Yeah, firstly, I think I would like to offer my condolences to the families and friends of this unfortunate event that took place yesterday. Even though this is not the first time in the history of our Air Force, this, I would say, is the most tragic one we've ever seen. I am glad the President has made mention of an inquiry into the state of the whole incident, and I believe we shall definitely, the military will definitely come out with a satisfactory report. I'm also very much impressed that the few specimens have been sent to South Africa for forensic just to enable us to identify the bodies. That's also, I think, a very good move. But I think this to be a call for this country to get together. This should be a call for this country to know that we are one people. We've received messages of condolences from various countries. And even the political parties, including my own political party, have also brought in the message, which I'm very happy about. But we should see to it that as a nation, we get together and build this nation to the level that will impress each and everyone that lives in this country. Now, I believe strongly that some of the issues that will be looked at properly will be the state of the aircraft itself, the age of the aircraft, and the latest service that has been done on the aircraft. And in fact, when the last mandatory test of the aircraft was done. And these findings will help us to come to a final conclusion of what really has taken place. It is unfortunate because among them, there are few I think I have got in touch closely. That is Dr. Omanebuama. In fact, I was with him about 3 weeks ago at the Accra Sports Stadium. We were just sitting together. And then also, Mutara is somebody too I have seen and had the opportunity to talk to him. Another nice gentleman. The others in the service, I don't know them because they are far engineers in the service. Now, the other patrons who pass on to, I have not really met them before. But I think these people now be seen as patriots, people who, in the course of duty to the nation, have lost their lives. And they should be honored the way that an honor will be given to the highest person in this country. I think I would like to end here because I don't think there's much to say. People are people are mourning at the moment. A very painful experience they are going through, particularly to the families, close families of these fallen heroes. And there's no point really dragging this on. All I'll say is that may the Lord and Allah accept them in their bosoms. Thank you.
And indeed, I thank you for these solemn words coming from a place of brokenness as reflects the mood of the nation. But you did indicate, Togbi, maybe quickly before I let you go, that these fallen heroes must be seen as patriots and they should be honored in a way that we honor heroes in this country. Correct?
That's exactly what should happen. Thank you.
Right. I thank you so much, Togbi, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, for sharing these few words with us. Thank you very much. And as impactful as it is, a statesman, Togbi Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo also served in the Ghana Armed Forces as well. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Let's go straight to the Ashanti region because that is the region where this Brofidro area where this tragic incident happened. And 24 hours on, my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar, who spent most of the day yesterday at the crash site, returned to the crash site today, and we have an update on what's been happening at the crash site. We do know that now, so the president has indicated that the black box that has the flight data and the cockpit voice have all been retrieved. Ibrahim is joining us on Zoom right now. Ibrahim, thank you for connecting with us. you spend most of your day two, again, at the crash site. What did you observe over there?
Well, Alfred, last night we all left the scene together with the police and the military. But this morning, an inter-agency security personnel were redeployed to the area. We had the military, the police, some members of fire service, and other security agencies. And the mission was simple, to be able to retrieve the black box that authorities believe will aid in the investigation. So today, there was a ban on farming activities within the forest zone. In fact, that ban is still in force until further notice, because they wanted to have time scavenge the entire area so that they will be able to retrieve this black box. They started in the morning. Eventually, around evening, we had the information that they have been able to successfully retrieve the black box. And the Ashanti Regional Minister also confirmed that to us. So for today's mission, they have been able to gotten it, because even trying to use the helicopter as an exhibit was difficult, because you get to the scene of crash, you realize that most part of the helicopter has been melted. You only find litters of parts that are even far away from the scene of crash. And for that matter, they had to rely solely on the black box, because that is where all data will be stored, all the voice recording, and they will be able to get it. So today's mission, according to the team, has been successful. But you get to the town, very quiet, solemn mood, and people are still talking about the incident because they've never witnessed such a tragic incident before. They were saying that last year there was a similar situation, but it was a false landing of a military helicopter in the community. But this time around, it was quite tragic, and that has even put fear in them, because like they rightly indicated, when the helicopter got to the community, it was very low. And for that matter, they were not too surprised when they later heard an explosion and they rushed to the forest to realize that the helicopter has been crashed.
Amy, you talk about the parts of this helicopter, and we have a video. While you were talking, we'll put it on the screen, but let's put it in context. What we're showing right now, and Ibrahim, you made this video available to us. The residents of this community where this crash happened, they went to this crash site and took parts, the debris from this crash, and some of them were taking it home, and they were stopped by the police and the other security agencies, and these parts of the debris of this crash helicopter, which would form part of investigation, was retrieved. Any indication of some of them returning those debris of this crash helicopter that they took, which we're showing right now?
Well, some were able to return it because the police and the military insisted that they return it back to the site. Others too were able to take some of the parts home even before the arrival of the military and the police. Mind you, like I said, because of the explosion, even 45 minutes walk away from the crash site, you find some of these parts scattered across. So for some of the residents, some did not necessarily move to the crash site because it was quite a distance from the community. You are walking for more than 1 hour, 30 minutes, and in a thick forest, and you are climbing a mountain. So most of them couldn't even get to the scene of crash itself. But then some found some of these parts of the helicopter far away from the site, but they still wanted to take it home. In fact, I was even telling some of them that these are exhibits that can help in the investigation, but they didn't mind me. Some were successful and took them home, but others, the police and the military ensured that they returned them to the forest.
But Ibrahim, you engaged them and you told them to return these parts of the helicopter that had crashed. What were they taking it home for? Really?
Well, Alfred, I don't know the reason. I asked them, they told me they just want to keep it at home for records. I don't know what records they were referring to, but you could realize that they were bent on taking it home. You ask them what exactly they want to use that part for. They cannot give you any concrete explanation to that effect. They were just taking it home just so they will be able to preserve it and say, look, in 2025, when there was a helicopter crash here, I was there, and this is the evidence. That was what was running through some of them and their minds, because most of them were ignorant about even picking parts to their home. But like I said, at the initial stages before the military and the police got there, some of them managed to take some of these parts home. But when the police and the military got there, they ensured that no one was able to move with any part from the scene.
But the video we're showing shows some of them displaying the parts that they took. And in fact, you took them on video. You had them on video taking the parts away.
Well, they were even excited taking. They even asked me to film them because they have a part of the chopper that they are taking home. Even after filming, I had to educate them, but they said no, and they are taking it home. But like I said, some successfully managed to take them home. Others too had to return it because the police and the military insisted they do it. But like I earlier indicated, not all of them were at the crash scene. Some found these parts scattered within the forest and decided to take it home and do whatever they wanted to do with them.
And that clearly defines the extent of the impact of this crash, is it not?
Exactly, because the mere fact that you cannot even see the helicopter there, you cannot see something that shows that this is indeed an helicopter. That shows that the impact was intense. Everything, or I would say 90% or more than 90% of the parts had melted and you couldn't even pick them up. So it shows you that when the plane crashed, there was an explosion. For that matter, that's how come maybe we couldn't get any survivor.
But let's hear the residents, because when you spoke to them, and we'll have a screen analyst also join us, because this is the troubling aspect of this whole development in terms of the post-crash issues and also the investigation. Because if the parts of this crashed helicopter, the debris at the crash scene, you indicated because of the impact of the crash, the spread was as far as away as 45 minutes walk from the crash site itself, and the residents, out of ignorance, have taken parts of this crashed helicopter, which is going to serve as exhibit for investigation to their homes. We can only appeal to them to surrender it to the security agencies at this point. But this is what they told Ibrahim. Just take a look at this.
I'm so much sick. When again? Easy, Commander. Minister, bro. Minister,
So, Ibrahim, you could say, out of, as you indicate, ignorance, that sense of joy, or even taking what should be or is evidence for the investigation into this crash. But beyond that, today you were there. We have videos of the security officers on the ground also. But tell us about the process that led to the retrieval of the black box as well. Any updates on that?
Well, Alfred, so today the military did not allow anyone entry into the forest, the entire forest zone. And we do know that some of the residents have their farms in there. But like I said, as we speak, there is a ban on farming activities within the forest. So it was the military together with the police officers who went there to scavenge and make sure they were able to retrieve. In fact, as at the time we were leaving the scene, they had not found the black box yet, around 3. But it was later when we got to Kumasi that the regional minister confirmed to us that they have indeed found it, because there are a number of pits within the forest zone. So yesterday it was difficult for them, and time to, as at 5, 6 deep forest, and it was getting dark. So they didn't have that luxury of time to be able to search for those aspects. But today, because they went there early in the morning and started the search early, making sure that they were spread, looking through the debris, the forest, then later we were told that they've been able to be successful in getting the black box. So as we speak, the black box has been handed to the appropriate quarters for investigation to continue.
But you've been speaking to the resident, that's beyond those who took, out of ignorance, took part of this crashed helicopter home, but the community itself. Now, how have they been reacting to this development, and then also the expression of their willingness to aid in investigations? Because they had told you earlier that this helicopter, prior to its crash, was flying at a very low altitude, correct?
Exactly. So most of them are open to investigation. In fact, since yesterday, the community members have been supportive in even trying to retrieve the 8 bodies, and even moving the 8 bodies from the mountain to where the ambulance is. They perform, I would say, about 80% of the job, supporting the security or supporting the police and the military, just so we'll be able to get to this place. And they have given their account and said they are ready to give out any information that is required of them. And for that matter, you realize that most of them are down-spirited, but when it comes to information sharing, almost everyone is eager to give out information. And that's sometimes where the danger is. If you don't take care, people may even give you inaccurate information and tell you they were there when the crash happened. So the community members from the assembly, the unit committee members, the chiefs, they are all ready. Because yesterday when we were leaving the site around 7 p.m., the military told the assembly member to make sure that together with the unit committee, they wouldn't allow anyone into the forest. And that was done this morning. We were told since last night, 7 p.m., no one had attempted to go in the forest to do anything. So they are ready to cooperate. But like I said, because of ignorance, that's how come some of them were picking parts of the chopper up. I'm sure that when the officials go to the town and announce that they need every part that each person has picked, hopefully they may surrender them for further investigation. And
Ibrahim, we are also learning of the Asanteman Council's statement, which I know you're aware of, directing, in fact, there's a directive by Otufo to the second, Asante, inviting Nananom to a meeting of the council scheduled for Monday, 11th August, right?
Well, Alfred, it's true. We do not know what exactly this meeting will be about, but at least we do know that every month such meetings are being held. Looking at the context, it appears this one is an emergency meeting. So we are hoping and we are waiting to see what the outcome of the meeting will be on Monday.
Ibrahim, I appreciate you for this, and I know that you are on this until the full cycle of this investigation is completed. So we'll connect with you again in the coming days. In fact, tomorrow we'll get to you again for some updates on what's happening in this Brofidru area. Ibrahim Abubakar, thank you so much, as always, for connecting with us. He's our Shanti regional correspondent, but the president gave detail of the investigation in this address that we played, or we brought you live coverage of not too long ago. This is the indication about the investigation and the form in which it will take going forward. Take a look.
These gallant men each served Ghana with distinction. And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment. In this moment of national grief, let us remember that we are above all Ghanaians, united not just by our nationality, but by our shared hope, our shared humanity, and now our shared sorrow. Let us set aside our differences and offer our collective compassion to the bereaved families. This is not a time for division, speculation, or political point scoring. It is a time for strength, for empathy, and for the enduring Ghanaian spirit that still stands tall when all else has failed. Let our words be of comfort, our actions be of kindness, and our unity be the tribute we offer to those whose lives have been lost. To the families, to the Ghana Armed Forces, to the ministries and departments that have lost dedicated staff, and to the National Democratic Congress, which mourns the passing of valued members, may you find strength in their memory and their legacy. May we all be comforted by the knowledge that though they are gone from our sight, they remain forever in the spirit of the nation they so faithfully served.
That's the president there. He makes a strong point that there's full and transparent investigation into the cause of this tragedy is already ongoing. And this comes on the back of the calls for investigation by a number of people that we have heard throughout the day today. And also the Deputy Agric Minister, Ayawaso West Wuogon, Member of Parliament, John Dumelo, had this to say. Take a look.
Everybody knows yesterday was Black Wednesday. The 8 men died in the line of duty. It could have happened to anyone. And of course, we're all devastated. And so it's a sad day. And everybody is always in a hurry to be the first to share it, And I think sometimes, there are some things you can share. There are some things you can be the first to talk about, but not scenes like this. Because, imagine what the family is going through what they went through when they saw it on social media. And so it can be very heartbreaking. And so, look, I would advise people not to be sharing such kind of sensitive content and try and be the hero when it comes to news breaking. I think investigations should commence, and so when that kind of investigation commences, then we'll be able to ascertain the real cause of what happened. And like I said, this could have happened to anyone. The president uses this helicopter. Everybody uses it. Private citizens use it sometimes. It could have happened to anyone. And so when the investigation starts, I think we should, and the report finally comes out, those who are responsible should definitely report to.
As the Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency, the Deputy Agric Minister, John Dumelo, there. The management and students of Pope John Senior High School and Minor Seminary in the Eastern region earlier today held a requiem mass in memory of the late Dr. Edward Omane Boama, the Defense Minister. Just want to take you to the Eastern region. This is what happened earlier today.
Good morning to you all. To celebrate Mass. Normally we have celebrated Mass at the house level. Today we have been Amos House, right? In the chapel. But because of the tragedy that has fallen against the nation, and we in particular, a friend, a father, a father, a loved one, is heaven and is for God. Gives us the cause to celebrate this Mass in his memory and to ask God for his divine intervention. Incidentally also, Honorable Dr. Edward was a Catholic and a devout Catholic. And we Catholics believe in Mass, the Holy Mass, as our highest form of prayer. And we pray the Mass every day, remember the dead. So today we are remembering him. What are we going to ask for? That God forgives him and all the compatriots who are involved in the helicopter crash. May God forgive them all, forgive all of them their sins. And may God welcome them to heaven, to paradise. So this Mass we are offering for Dr. Edward Omanebo, Minister for Defense. Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, Minister for Environment. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. Dr. Samuel Sapon, Vice Chairman, NDC. Samuel Abuaje, former parliamentary candidate. Squadron Leader, Peter, and Flying Officer June Apedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado. So, Omaniko together with these other 7 who lost their lives, today we are praying for all of them.
So that was the management and students of Pope John Senior High School and a minor seminary there in the Eastern region held that requiem mass in memory of the late Dr. Edward Omaniboma and the other gallant Ghanaians that we lost in this tragedy. That was the headmaster of Pope John Senior High School, Reverend Father Benjamin Opoko Hene there. Yvonne Nikwe is our Eastern Regional correspondent. She sat through this mass in memory of these fallen heroes. And Yvonne, we understand that just last month, the late Dr. Omaniboma was at the anniversary of Pope John's, correct?
Alfred, correct. Just last month, 14th, he was the special guest of honor for the Pope John Senior High School, his alma mater, where he shared some good times in memory of even how he was even offered admission to the school, courtesy by his mother's will and prayer. And so today at the school, it was a very sober moment, lots of reflections, eulogies from students, some old students, and then management of the school as well.
See, now paint towards the mood there. You spoke to some of the students as well, and what did they tell you?
Well, for some of the students, the speech and prize giving, they offered them the opportunity to know Dr. Edward Omani better. The advice he gave them on that day was still lingering on their mind, to be good servants in school and to the nation as well. For many of them, they were hoping that the promises of getting improved infrastructure in their school, such as their science laboratory and other infrastructure, will be given to them as Dr. Omaniboma continues his leadership in his ministry and then be able to help them in their school. But it's all gone now. But they still know that his selfless leadership, humbleness, and giving is one of the things that they will remember him for, and they'll continue to do that in honesty as they grow up to serve the country as well. The old students also had fond memories of him. Some of them were his seniors, others were his juniors. They do still remember that he had not changed from his time being a student of Pope John's until his leadership. He's carried his calm demeanor, sense of leadership, honesty, service to everybody he meets across. And so the memories, the tributes, the eulogies were severally today when we went to the school. Both teachers and students were in a very sad mood, trying to remember one of their thoughtful old students a good Pojoba as well as they would want to recall him, because he's had a lot of impact for them in their school, even within this short period that he returned back to power to, as it were, join the NDC government and then do more for their school.
And then we understand he was a student leader as well over there. Beyond today, the school, what happened in the school, you went to his mother's home as well yesterday and monitoring the events there today as well. We understand Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah was the last surviving son of his mother. What's going on?
Well, rightly so. From yesterday when the news was officially given to the mother by a government delegation led by the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, the NDC Chairman, Honorable Siedu Ketia, Honorable First Patrick, and several of them who came along, she broke down. She could hardly hold herself. This is an aged woman already, and so government delegation and the family thought it wise that she could not still be in the house. They had to move her to a closed space where they could monitor her psychologically and health-wise to ensure that even as the process continues to bury his only son, we still have her safe and sound. And so the house today was very quiet, no activity going on, but just for two others who were just, as it were, holding on in the house to ensure that whoever passes by, they're able to give them information. But no official family gathering happened today at the mother's house at Ifijiase. It was only the Honorable DC who had to ensure that the house was still in safe because nobody was in the house, just about two women. And so he passed through and then spoke to us as well. He believes that the New Jabe North constituency, where Dr. Omane-Boamah's mother was, and where Dr. Boamah himself was, would have benefited again from Dr. Boamah. But here again, they wouldn't have that. But they are hoping that whatever he did in leadership as a politician, even though he didn't stand for any contest to be voted on, all of them will learn from that selfless service and reach out to humanity and impact humanity as Dr. Boamah himself has been held high.
Yvonne Ikwe, I do appreciate you for this, and I thank you for this update. I know that you're keeping tabs on how things are playing out, especially with the family, her mother, that's his mother, beg your pardon, and then also the extended family, how they are reacting to this heavy loss to them, most importantly, and to the nation at large. What we are showing you now, the scenes from the family house yesterday, the family house of the late Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, defense minister, and that was a time when the government officials arrived there to officially communicate his passing to his mother, whom we're getting updates right now from Yvonne Ikwe that she has been relocated from this venue, that's the family house, to another location for close monitoring. You see the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, the Sports Minister, Kofi Adams, and the Deputy Defense Minister, Enes Boja Jemfi, all in there, and Phyllis Kwatiofosu, the Minister in charge of Government Communications, also Brasebo Kwamankese, Member of Parliament, and other government officials all there, the National Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Siedu Ketia, all making their way to the family house of the late Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah yesterday to officially inform his mother of his passing. Yvonne, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yvonne Ikwe is our Eastern Regional Correspondent there. Now, we also got to know a bit more on the life of the late Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, that he once served as a manservant of the now Archbishop Charles Palmer Buckle in Koforidua. Yvonne, quickly, before I let you go, that's some information that we also got earlier today, correct?
Alfred, Dr. Omane-Boamah, throughout his youthful days, was a staunch Catholic at the St. George Cathedral Parish here in Koforidua. And so it's a big loss to the Catholic fraternity as well. Yesterday, we saw some leadership of the Catholic Church visits the mother as well. I do know that in the coming days, some official delegation will be done, but it's a big loss to the church as well. He's been a staunch member of the Catholic Church, a mass servant, part of various committees or as it were, groups in the church as well. And so Knights of St. John's and all of that. And so the church still remembers him. Anytime, even though he left Koforidua to have national call, anytime he comes to Koforidua, you see him worship with the St. George Catholic Church in Strodai out there. So yes, they will fondly remember him. And I hope that in the coming days, they will also have patch of a ceremony to remember him as well.
And rightly so. Yvonne, thank you so much. This is what the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Ghanaian broadcast journalist Gilbert Abeko Agri, popularly known as Abeko Santana, also had these memories to share of the late Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah.
Dr. Omane-Boamah is my brother from Koforidua. I mean, like brother, we grew up together, and today we found ourselves in politics. He has been a leader in politics before I joined, so I look up to him, a very deep analytical person, and draw a lot of inspiration from him. I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, and I'm thinking about his mother that I know. He's the only child of his mom. So I'm just reflecting, going through how is she feeling, knowing how close he was with the mother. So it's a big loss. And I don't know where this is coming from. Say, God, have mercy upon us.
So that's Abeko Agri. That's Abeko Santana, the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority there, and also talking about his memories of the late Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, whom the Yvonne, our Eastern Regional Correspondent, did indeed confirm that he served in the 80s as a mass server of the Archbishop Charles Palmer Buckle, and his commitment and dedication to the Catholic Church is one that has also been highlighted quite extensively, right from his youthful days serving as a mass server up until this moment of his passing. Now, this is just a quick recall of Dr. Omane-Boamah, and we'll go to all the others as well. When he appeared before the Appointments Committee of Parliament during his vetting, just a brief of that, and then also some 2 weeks ago, he addressed the nation at the Government Accountability Series as well. Take a look at this.
After several months, to say that page 1, page 2,
okay,
it's a document.
That's okay.
It's very unfair.
Doc, that's okay. That's okay. Doc, please, the document in your hands.
Which one?
The one I just gave you.
Okay.
Doc, be patient with me, respectfully.
I'm very patient.
Yeah, sure.
You.
So,
and I thought,
no, we relax.
Mr. Chair, if you permit me, I thought we had settled on this matter. No. That if his view is that this was a very bold investor who had no approvals from government, just went in and decided to loot part of GIS's land, then if we are to go by that, then I should not have linked MPP to it. But I said I don't believe that kind of situation is the case. And I promise here that I will investigate it as a citizen of Ghana to get to the bottom of it. So I felt we had settled this matter about GIS's land. His scenario, I conceded that if his scenario was the case, then I shouldn't have linked MPP to it.
Chairman, with that explanation and clarity, I would not pursue your post-verbatim.
Mr. Chair, recruitments and enlistments will follow the rules of engagement strictly. You have my assurance.
Honorable nominee, what is your party's or your government defense policy?
To all the directors of the Ministry of Defense, senior officers and commanders at all levels of the Ghana Armed Forces, thank you for your tireless dedication behind the scenes. And to every soldier, airman, sailor, and defense civilian staff, from the front lines of our borders to peacekeeping missions abroad, I salute you. Your service is not only a duty, it's a national covenant. I also extend my appreciation to the media for your role in the national dialogue and to our citizens for your vigilance and your enduring support. Additionally, to the Ministry of Government Communications for instituting the Government Accountability Series, which has provided us this platform to wear our boots from the barracks to interface with the public and account for our stewardship at the presidency.
And may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. And this was just some 2 weeks ago. The Jubilee House Government Accountability Series instituted by the presidency to also create a platform for the ministers to update the nation on specific policies, interventions to advance the development of this country. Let's go to we'll go to the northern region right now and also gauge the mood there, as a number of the gallant persons we have lost as well have their roots from the northern region. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Dominic Akrotinga Ayene, also shared his memories of the late Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, the Environment Minister and the Tamale Central Member of Parliament. Take a look.
If there was anyone in Parliament that we could count on to speak the truth and to be honest and straightforward, he was one of them. Not only was he God, this is really very difficult. You know, in our politics, integrity is a very rare commodity. But this young man had it all. He loved this country. He loved the NDC as a political tradition. He spoke true to power. And that is what we need. And Ghana has not only lost a rare commodity in our politics, in the person of the Honorable Murtala, but someone who is also, at the same time, very patriotic. And for me, it was his commitment to do the right thing that stands out very clearly for me. I'm very sure that he has left, even in this short political career, the Honorable Murtala Mohammed has left an indelible mark in my culture. A man is not supposed to cry, but this is too much.
Also, the Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam is a member of Parliament for the Karaga constituency, the immediate past Finance Minister of the Republic of Ghana during the ex-Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration, had this to say.
Alhaji Muniru, similarly, is a senior brother of mine. I was with him only about a month ago at the Gundeland Youth Association meeting. And so, like all the others. So it's a national tragedy. God has done his work. He chooses when he brings us into this world, and he chooses when he takes us away. I would like to propose that there is a comprehensive parliamentary inquiry into this accident. It's a major accident. Ghana is not the same with the passing of these great men of our country. We can't let it just pass, so that we can learn lessons from that, so that we can prepare ourselves never to see this again. It's so unfortunate that this has happened at this time. 2 serving cabinet ministers and servicemen who are contributing gallantly to the development of our country would just lose their lives in such an accident. I mean, it's a very difficult situation for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's the Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam, the Member of Parliament for the Karaga constituency, the immediate past Finance Minister of the Republic of Ghana, also sharing his memories of the late Dr. Alhaj Mutala Mohammed there, the Environment, Science and Technology Minister. Now, he is calling for a comprehensive parliamentary inquiry into this crash that has claimed 8 lives. Bear in mind, we've lost 8 people who've contributed to the development of this country in many ways. Let's go on to Zoom right now, and security analyst Richard Kumado is joining us. Mr. Kumado, thank you for joining us. You had the Honourable Member of Parliament for Karaga there, Dr. Amin Adam, and he comes in to also bring another dimension to the calls for investigation. He talks about a comprehensive parliamentary inquiry. The President has also indicated a full and transparent investigation into the cause of this crash. How will these two work together? I mean, whether there has to be the consideration of a comprehensive parliamentary inquiry, how does that fit into the full-scale, transparent investigation the President talks about?
No, definitely, it's an accident. It might be. There are several ways of looking at it. For investigation bodies, civil aviation is interested in investigating this matter. The military is interested in investigating this matter. Ghana Police is interested in investigating this matter. And the BNI would definitely investigate this matter. And the outcomes of their investigations will be discussed at the National Security Council meetings or at the Joint Intelligence Committee meetings. And that is one useful way of looking at it, so that the lessons that will be learned and the outcome of the investigations can be communicated to the President. Setting up a parliamentary inquiry into it and setting up all other committees will be for the fanfare, or will be to the broader scale of Ghanaians getting to see what happened publicly and on open television. And I think that is the fun side of it. But for we as investigators, we have started the investigation right from the day, right from the hour, right from the minute the news broke out that the helicopter lost radar. From the radar, then has fallen down onto the abyss or wherever it fell. And I think we need to look at it from different angles. So I support all investigations, but even before the President announced an investigations, I can confidently confirm to you there has been a lot of movement from the security intelligence community, and there has been a lot of movement from the investigative agencies, and they are doing everything possible to put the dots together.
Well, but now it is also getting to know today, as confirmed by the President, that the flight data and the cockpit voice have all been retrieved. Mr. Kumado.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to the investigations, we are looking at about 4 different sides of it. The helicopter itself has become an object of investigation. So the helicopter will be analyzed prior to when it took off and what happened to the helicopter. Then again, we are looking at procedure and to see whether the standard protocols were followed. So that is another dimension of the investigation. Then the investigators will also look at the persona of the personalities on board. We want to find out whether somebody carried something untoward onto the flight. We want to find out whether the flight was shot down by some long-range ammunition within the circles, considering the nature of the galamsey activities and the reality or the harsh realities of what we are talking about. Then we also want to find out the crew members, who they are, whether they have some peculiar situations around them, who are their superiors, who are their subordinates, and where were they 3 days before the day, 1 week before the day, 3 weeks before the day, 3 months before the day. All these things will come into the investigations, and each of the components will make a meaning to the frontliners who are engaged in this investigation. The crime scene has become a major issue. I was worried when I saw individuals carrying parts of the helicopter home. I want to believe that the videos we are seeing and those individuals will be identified and they could be brought to book, or those parts could be taken away from them for scientific verification. Then again, after the last one I want to make on the investigation side is that I'm happy the bodies have been retrieved, and I am happy they have been transferred to Accra, and I am happy the police, the forensic team of the police and the crime team of the police are the ones on board to South Africa to ensure that DNAs are done to identify who is who in that regard before the 15th day for the final day of the burial service government has proposed. So that is where we are for now. This investigation is important, and all the skillful persons in all the investigative agencies, we are not talking about amateurs here, we are talking about full-blown investigators. They will get to the field, because I know certain people who are private investigators who are also in the field, making sure that we put our heads together and get this thing done.
And a very important point you raise about the scope of the investigation, taking into consideration not just the events of yesterday, but a day or two before, 1 week before. All of that will be of interest to the investigators.
Yeah, definitely, yes. We want to find out exactly what happened, the crew members in particular. Then everybody on board. There are various scenarios here. It could be somebody smuggled something into the aircraft. It could also be that somebody shot the aircraft. It could also be it's an attack within the peculiar area they find themselves. Such aircraft, the way they are designed, has the flexibility and adjustment to fly very high when they are instruments. But when they are being moved by manually, then it is the pilot that determines how low they could fly. And considering the fact that we are hearing similar news from Kenya and that of the US, we will want to find out who are the crew members, whether they have peculiar circumstances, whether they are the same people they will want to pick on this flight. I've heard one of the things that is coming up is this. You know, it was the president who is supposed to attend this program, and he passed on the baton to Omanyebuama. When you look at the civilian...
there hasn't been any clear official communication of the delegation of Omanyebuama. So I think that we'll double down on that, at least for now, you know, just for the sake of getting...
I agree.
Just double that on for now.
The point I want to make is that
I was just
if you want to look at... Hold on. If you look at the civilian relationship to the military, Omanyebuama is the Minister of Defense. And when you take the president out and you take the vice president out, he's the next person. If you're looking at the civilian-military relationship. So therefore, the risk elements around him is high. And every trip he makes, whether by air, by land, I think the precautionary measures should be high. And I also think that the protective measures should be high. And the priorities given to his movement should be a little bit high. And that will also feature in the investigations, in some of the lines of questioning and some of the analysis that will be done.
And beyond identifying, you hit the point right there about these persons in the community, the Brofiedu community, who out of ignorance took the parts of this crashed helicopter. They say they're going to keep it. Ibrahim spoke to them, they said, for keeping it for the memory of what happened. Beyond those who we captured on video, which we have made available, what should be done to get those who probably were not spotted to bring it back? An appeal or some search of a sort?
Yeah, I think a search can bring it out. That is one. Eyewitnesses can identify who did what. But I also think we need to manage the crime scene a bit more properly, because that whole area is a subject of investigation. The debris has become an object of investigation. All eyewitnesses will help in this particular investigation. And we cannot leave any stone unturned. I am heartbroken. My mother sees Mutala as her firstborn. She adores him. My junior brothers love him so much. Both Omanyebuama and Mutala are my brothers. These are people I speak to very often.
Right.
And I am very hard. And we want to put in everything we have learned for all these years in terms of strategic investigations. And we want to make sure we get the bottom of this. And I'm looking forward to the outcome of this result, and I'll be the first person to jump up to talk about it.
Right. And Mr. Kumado, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. I know this is just the beginning of a long period of conversation on what has happened. Richard Kumado is a security analyst, but let's also take you back into memory and just in honoring the memory of these fallen heroes. This was the day that the late Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed was sworn in by the President John Dramani Mahama as the Minister in charge of Environment, Science and Technology at the presidency. Take a look.
Mohammed, as Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, you will have the unenviable task of safeguarding Ghana's environment, which has been in great peril from the activities of Galamsey and other environmental terrorism. You also have the responsibility of promoting Ghanaian technology and making it competitive. Ghana's communication sector has seen incremental growth over the last few decades, and you, Honorable Samuel Nate Jata George.
I'd like to invite the Honorable Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed to receive. No, yes, just we'll do the group one later. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Honorable, you may sign. Proceed to sign in the oath book. Right. Family and friends of the Honorable Murtala Mohammed, please join. Mrs., please take your rightful position. Wonderful.
May their souls rest in perfect peace. Let's cross over to the Northern region now. Our Northern region correspondent, Christopher Marco, has been at the residence of both the late Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed and also Alhaj Muniru Mohammed, acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, who also died as a result of this tragic event yesterday. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Chris, paint to us the mood in these two residences that you visited earlier today.
Yes, so Alfred, I must say that it's been a sad moment for family, friends, and sympathizers who were at the Tamale family house of the late Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed. Since yesterday when the news broke, a lot of people have visited the family house to, as it were, share their words of sympathies with them. Earlier today, you remember that yesterday there was this earlier announcement that burial service for the late MP for Tamale Central would have taken place today, but there was another information that it will not take place. And so a lot of the people who went to the family house today were there thinking that the burial will be carried out. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But the consolation they have is that the late Member of Parliament died a Muslim. He died a religious person. He died loving his tradition, loving his people. And so the Holy Quran also has it that whatever that happens to mankind is the will of Allah. And for the burial, they believe that even the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he died, according to them, he died on a Monday, but was buried on a Wednesday. And so even delaying it once it's for good purposes, it's not something that they would be worried about. And so a lot of the people were there to sympathize with the family and also encourage them to remain strong in this trying moment.
And I know you speak to his brother. I'm talking about the late Dr. Murtala Mohammed. his elderly brother, and he shared some deep detail with you. Can you just share it with our viewers now?
Yes, so since yesterday, I've been engaging him. In fact, we were the first to get to his residence and engage him on live television, and he actually told us how heartbroken he was. He's been sharing some good testimonies about his late brother, and the fact that the late brother told him that he would have been in the constituency, that is to say, Tamale, this coming Saturday to commission, to cut short for the construction of a health center. And after that, they will move to Takrady on Monday to visit a brother who has not been well. And so he was waiting for him to arrive on Saturday. Then they will prepare a move to Accra, then to Takrady on Monday to visit their brother, who, according to the elder brother, underwent surgery, and so they needed to pay him a visit. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen again. He's also been talking about the fact that his last words with him was for him to encourage him that, look, anything that you have to do, you will have to do it early enough, because tomorrow is uncertain. And so he's been worried that some of the plans that he thought they could work around together, he's not been able to do that. But he takes consolation in the fact that every living soul shall taste death. And so his brother's death is one of the many news of deaths that we hear each and every day.
And maybe finally, you also gauge the mood in the communities of both Alhaji Muniru Mohammed and then also the late Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. What have they been telling you, the people within the communities of these two fallen heroes?
Yes, Alfred, you know very well that, let me say that since 2018, when the President John Dramani Mahama decided to go into farming, large-scale farming, of course, the late Alhaji Muniru, that is the acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, has been the one managing his farm. In fact, even when the president won elections, a lot of people felt that Alhaji Muniru has already gotten his appointment already in JM's farm. And so on the 25th of July, just last month, he was given his appointment letter as the acting National Security Coordinator. It's barely 2 weeks today, and so a lot of people in the Damango constituency and the entire Gunjaland and northern Ghana in general were looking up to him for some opportunities. Unfortunately, he did not live to realize that dream with these people. Let me also add, Alfred, unfortunately, yesterday when the news broke, there was a lady who happens to be a niece to the late Alhaji Muniru. She told me that she had given her certificates and everything to the uncle to get her a job. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen. So she was totally broken. And so a lot of people are giving good testimonies about these fallen heroes, especially those that I have interacted with. Don't also forget that the squadron leader also has a family house in Tamale. I visited there earlier today, and it's very sad, Alfred. A lot of good testimonies for these gone souls in the northern parts of the country.
Grace, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. And obviously, different people grieving differently for different reasons, but the most important focus is the families of these fallen heroes. And Chris, thank you for spending time in the homes of these fallen heroes and bringing us up to speed with what is happening there. We'll keep tabs on the homes of these persons, fallen heroes, gallant Ghanaians who served this country very well before their untimely death. We also got information, Chris, that tomorrow was going to be the birthday of Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, who died yesterday, acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. This is a special edition of Ghana Tonight. We're back shortly after this quick break. We'll wrap it all up. Stay with us.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani. From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News, leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
welcome back. A country in mourning. And as we wrap up, the former Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, also shared fond memories of the late Dr. Samuel Sapong, Vice Chair of the National Democratic Congress, and Samuel Abuaji, National Democratic Congress's parliamentary candidate for the Obuasi East constituency in the 2024 election. He was, until his untimely death yesterday, the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, that's NADMO. And this is what Simon Osei, the former Ashanti Regional Minister, said. Take a look.
If people decide to politicize the issue, more especially at this crucial time, I think we should depoliticize it. We've lost several souls, 8 of them, one from our region, and more so somebody who was the political head of this region, who represented the president in this region. Please, people should take the politics out of it. If we do politics with everything, a time will come, anybody with integrity, anybody with decency, dignity will never go into politics. Let's do our best to depoliticize this issue.
May their souls continue to rest in perfect peace. The conversation on the back of the president's speech earlier this evening continues tomorrow morning, and the calls for investigation as well, as the president did indicate that particular conversation, or the call to establish the cause of this crash, is a legitimate one, and he's well aware of this as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, already having instituted full and transparent investigation into the cause of the crash, and then also calls for this comprehensive parliamentary inquiry, amongst others. All of that will be part of the conversation tomorrow morning on New Day, on TV3, and also on 3FM 92.7 Sunrise. On behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Have a good night.
Blue.